Good morning. My name is Belinda Cardwell, and I'm a counselor here at Genesis Women's Shelter and Support. Welcome to our Client Services webinar. Just a few bits of housekeeping before we get to the content of the webinar today. The presentation is for educational purposes only, and please consider your own situation and safety concern before putting any ideas into practice that we talk about today. So as far as safety goes, please be sure to watch. This is a safe place where only safe people can hear it. You can use headphones. This will help ensure no one else can hear what you're watching. And if you feel like someone monitors your phone or computer, please remember to clear your browser history after watching the video. And if you need to leave the live Zoom webinar quickly, remember that you'll need to click end a couple of times and then close out of the Zoom page. So as far as confidentiality is concerned, that's very important to us. So we ask that you do not use the chat feature on Zoom. If you use the chat feature, your name and comment will be seen by anyone either watching the live video today or the video recording once it's posted on YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, if you leave any comments on the YouTube video recording, your name and comment will also be seen by everyone else who watches the video. So please do not chat or comment on the videos. We do not monitor or respond to any comments on questions left on the YouTube video recording, so please contact us directly if you need help. Victoria O'Connor is also a counselor at Genesis, and she's here today, but she's actually doing the recording, so she's not on screen. And then again, my name is Belinda Cardwell, and listed is our phone number and our email addresses, and that will be also listed at the end of the webinar. So if you're in crisis and you need immediate help with emergency safety planning or emergency shelter, please call our 24-hour hotline. That number is 214-946-4357. If you'd like to sign up for counseling at Genesis or talk to a counselor, please call the counseling line at 214-389-7700. Actually, that's the main number, and you'll be connected to the counseling line. Again, that number is 214-389-7700. So again, these webinars are for educational purposes and not to help you if you're in crisis. So here's our hotline number again. It bears repeating, 214-946-4357. The National Domestic Violence Hotline number is 800-799-7233. They also have a chat feature at their website, which is the hotline.org. And also the National Suicide Hotline number is 800-273-8255. Okay, so now we're going to enter into the content portion of the webinar, and we're going to talk a little bit about mindfulness. So for me, mindfulness is very similar to that old quote, stop and see the roses, stop and smell the roses, excuse me, but you want to add in all the other senses if you're doing a mindfulness activity. You want to see the color of the petals. You want to notice the variation of the color. You want to feel the softness of the petals. You want to hear any sound from the petals as you touch them, and notice perhaps any taste sensations because of the smell. So you're doing the whole experience of the rose, and you're being present in the moment. And that's a brief overview of what mindfulness is. It is a buzzword now. You can read about it in many lifestyle magazines or health articles, but it has been around since the 70s as an evidence-based practice. It was put in place by a physician up in Massachusetts, Dr. Kabal Zinn, and I hope I didn't butcher his last name, but he has found that mindfulness has many benefits, including emotional health, improving cognitive functioning, improving stress, and other physical and mental concerns. So this is important for our clients, those clients who are in domestic violence relationship or have left a domestic violence relationship and are still experiencing trauma symptoms. So these symptoms could be hyperarousal, like irritability, distressing memories, being easily startled, or they could be hypoarousal. So you're feeling disconnected, sad, hopeless, a sense of fatigue. And practicing mindfulness can kind of help you come back to your center. We talked about window of tolerance a couple of weeks ago. So you kind of want to stay sort of in a center of your emotions and not be hyper aroused or hypo aroused. So mindfulness is one tool you can use to kind of help you come back to that center. So, mindfulness. The official definition is paying attention to an experience in the present moment. So you're aware of what's going on now. But you also have to relate to that experience without judgment or resistance. So they build on each other. You have to pay attention, be in the experience, as well as relate without judgment or resistance. And I wanted to take a brief moment to talk a little bit about the difference between meditation versus mindfulness, because those terms are used interchangeably. So they're both boost your self-awareness and feelings of being centered, but meditation focuses more on inner thoughts. You usually practice with your eyes closed, you're usually seated and it's a specific time length, and you're trying to focus on your thoughts to open your heart, expand your awareness, or calm your mind. All very beneficial activities, but mindfulness focuses on those inner thoughts as well as your outside awareness. You're noticing and paying attention to your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors, and your movements. One of the big benefits of mindfulness is that you can practice mindfulness anytime, anywhere. It's both formal practice and an informal practice. And just a quick tidbit, that a recent study at Harvard found that people spend almost 50% of their waking hours thinking about something other than what they're doing. So that kind of shows you how important it is to be mindful and practice mindful habits. It's also important to foster a mindfulness habit now when you're not stressed, so that when you do become stressed or overwhelmed, you can be more empowered for those situations. Okay, so some techniques to put into place for mindfulness is focused mindfulness. That's where you're looking inward to observe what is happening in your mind. It's kind of like being singular in your focus, checking in with how you're thinking. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed or you're not sure what you're feeling, so you just take a moment, take some deep breaths and kind of focus inward. Again, this breathing helps keep the focus and helps keep you grounded in the moment. So it's more just kind of looking in to see what's going on in your mind. And then there's the awareness mindfulness, which is really what most people think about when they think of mindfulness. That's viewing your mental activity as if it belonged to someone else, and observing your mind as a stream of consciousness without attaching judgment. So that's kind of where you are aware of what you're thinking and aware of your surroundings, but you're not passing any judgment. So we're going to do a quick mindfulness activity that kind of takes both of these into play, and it's going to call the urge surfing. So if you're in a comfortable position, I want you to approach your thoughts and feelings, starting with some deep breaths. Just be aware of your thoughts and feelings. Now I want you to feel like you're surfing on a wave, that you're in the ocean, you're kind of going with the waves as they come and go. So we're just kind of focusing inward on our thoughts. Then I want you to turn your awareness to a warning sign of an intense emotion that's coming up as a wave. It could be worry, it could be anxiety, or it could be anger. So imagine this negative emotion coming to you like a wave that gets bigger and bigger. But as it crests, you just ride the wave, you let the emotion go over you, and you take any of that negative emotion and negative energy away. The wave passes and takes the negative feelings away. But you're proud of yourself because you let the emotion go, but you also acknowledge that there will be other times when you'll feel these emotions, and you'll remember that you know what to do by riding the wave. So next we're going to talk about some mindfulness activities. And we talked a little bit already about the breath, how important that is to kind of center yourself and come into the moment. So we're not going to go too much into that. But I would like to do a quick body scan because that's really important for mindfulness activities, to be mindful of what's going on. So I hope that you can get in another or stay in that comfortable position. And you can either, as you do this, lie on your back on the floor or in a bed or sit in a comfy chair. Just feel comfortable and close your eyes. I want you to move your awareness through your body, focusing on one area at a time. For today, we'll start at the head. So just move your awareness through your body and stop whenever you find an area that is unusually tight or sore. Focus your breath on that area until it relaxes. You can even use a calm, healing visualization at this point. Perhaps it's a ball of white light. It's melting that sore spot, and the sore spot is kind of dissipating. So once we have that sore spot calm and dissipated, we're going to keep it along with our body scan, keep going down the torso, down the legs, stopping as you need to find those areas of tightness or soreness. Again, focusing on your breath. And then once you're done, you will end up at your feet and you will let all of those negative sensations go through and out your toes. Now, if you prefer, you can start with your toes first and have it come up your head. But whatever's comfortable for you, you can do this pretty much anywhere, anytime. You don't have to be lying down, but you do have to be in this position where you're aware of your body. So the next two mindful activities will kind of combine the object focus and the mindful eating. So the first one is holding an object that's special or interesting to you. So I have an apple today. So I'm going to look at this apple. I'm going to notice the color. I'm going to notice the variations of the color. I'm going to notice that the stem is a different color. I'm going to notice the feel, how it's smooth. I'm going to smell it. Yes, it smells like an apple. And then if I were to taste it, I would then kind of go through another run of the senses. I would hear the crunch. I would feel the taste of the apple. I would smell the apple probably more. And then I would look at the apple where the bite had been, right? So you can do a mindfulness activity on an object all the way through if you're eating. And what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to pick up this apple and go, oh, there's a sore spot. I bet you this is too mushy. I'm not going to like this apple. Oh, somebody left a sticker on. It means it hasn't been washed, right? I'm not going to pick it up and have any judgment to this apple. I'm just going to pick up the apple and just observe it with my senses. I'm also going to feel the apple, right? So I kind of just challenge you to look around where you are and find an object that you haven't noticed before and that's different, or it's something that's there all the time, but you just haven't noticed it, and run your senses through it and just kind of do that throughout your day and kind of add more mindfulness to your activities along the day. So the second set of mindfulness activities is going to be about movement. Walking awareness is a really good mindfulness activity. You can take a leisurely walk. It gets you outside, kind of gets you in that fresh air, maybe some vitamin D from the sunshine. But you're going to walk at a gentle but familiar pace. And I want you to observe how you walk. Do you walk heel to toe? Do you walk flat-footed? Do you walk toe to heel? Do you walk straight path? Or do you kind of meander a little bit? And pay attention to the sensations in your body as you walk, much like we did with the body scan. How your shoulders feeling, how does it feel when your feet hit the ground, and just kind of run the body scan as you walk. And then I want you to match your breathing to your footsteps. So as you walk, your breathing should be in sync. And do this for however long you need to do it or you have time to do it, but just kind of do it for at least 3 minutes and just kind of watch and see how your stress level or other emotions decrease a little bit. And then there's mindful stretching. So we're going to go ahead and do that in just as far as sitting stretches. So you can practice mindful stretching on any set of stretches. Let's go ahead and raise our hands to the ceiling, kind of feel all that body sensation, feel the tightnesses, feel how good it is to stretch. Take some deep breaths. Then we're going to put our arms out to the side, feel the energy going out our fingertips. Again, feeling deep breathing, noticing our body, any sore spots, and then maybe move our hands to the front, lace our hands, so you can stretch and feel how the tightness release. Feel any particular spots of tightness in your body with deep breaths. Just be aware of it, don't judge, and then put our hands back in our lap. So that's just kind of a quick set of stretches that we went through our body, we noticed how we were feeling, we didn't do any judgment, and we just kind of felt some of the energy dissipate that we didn't need to be trapped inside our body. And obviously yoga is a really good practice if you want a guided practice for movement. And that would be a way to practice that. Okay, so that brings us pretty much to the conclusion of the webinar. I did have a couple things I want to run by you about mindfulness. Remember, it's best if you practice it daily. If you have a routine, I know for me it's every morning I have a mindful cup of coffee. I take the time to run through my senses of the coffee, and that kind of helps start my day. But there's a couple of philosophies that you might need to keep in mind when you're doing mindfulness. Again, it's non-judgment. You're kind of looking at your experience either without judging or maybe somewhat as an impartial witness. You also need to have the patience to give yourself this space and time and to allow yourself to have these experiences. And you're going to need what we call a beginner's mind, a mindset that is willing to experience everything as if it is the first time. Then you're going to have some trust in yourself and honor your knowledge and experience. And you're going to need to be non-striving. In other words, we're not trying to accomplish anything in particular, but we just want to be. We want to be in the present. And there's the acceptance part, seeing things as they really are in each moment and taking things as they come, which can be kind of hard if you're in an abusive relationship. But that's where we kind of go for the mindfulness activities of things that we, activities and events that we have every day in our daily schedule. And then we have the letting go, the intentionally releasing the control and allowing ourselves to fully participate in the experience. So again, I invite you to add some mindfulness practice to your day. I hope you found this webinar to be useful and interesting. Perhaps you can review it when it's on YouTube and kind of go through some of these activities with me again. But if you go out your day, just take some time to either observe an object that is common to your day, but something you've never really looked at and looked at through the senses, or maybe as you do an activity, such as perhaps washing the dishes, stop and do it in a mindful way, be aware of the water temperature of your hand, watch the soap bubbles, listen to the water running, and be aware of how your skin feels while you wash the dishes. And then see if you feel a bit less stressed and it becomes less of a chore because you've taken the mindfulness approach. That concludes our webinar today. So again, here's our contact information. Victoria, who was behind the camera today, and then I'm Belinda Cardwell. So I hope you found this useful, and thank you for joining us.